Hello! Okay, so I'm just going to give everybody a little bit of time to hop on and then we will get started. And I'm super excited. You're going to laugh at me. I have mom brain real bad, real bad. So, Mama Bear has her notes. Dun, dun, dun. So there's, hi Taylor. I have tons of notes and tons of things I want to share, and I was so excited to go back to the post that was made a couple weeks ago when Jamie said I was going to be on this. Hi, Jess. She asked you guys to ask me questions, and I went in there today to look at all the questions, and I was like blown away. They're amazing. So between obviously the questions asked a couple weeks ago and the questions asked today, I've changed the title of this to Coffee Talk with Allie, except the problem is I don't have any coffee, so that wasn't really the smartest title. But I feel like instead of saying how to crush the end of the year, it's just going to be Coffee Talk. How about that? And I'll throw in some stuff in there about crushing the end of the year. I pinky promised that. But I see you, Jamie, and I see everybody. I know, I didn't even think about that. Actually, okay, this is going to be so bad. This is my coffee cup from this morning, but I'm not drinking the remaining coffee that's left inside of it. Very, very excited. And before I can say what I want to say, okay, this is very, very importante. I want to congratulate you guys. And I'm probably going to get a little teary-eyed, but as I was reading through and you guys were like, oh my gosh, you know, you inspired me or whatever, and I need you to know how much you guys inspire me. And I mean that with every ounce of my being. It is something where I've seen your love for this business. I've seen your love for each other. That in and of itself is inspiring for me. The drive that you guys have is something fierce. I don't know if you guys realize, but not everybody has what you have. You know what I mean? Jamie, I'm not done. I'm just going to keep going because I just want to say that what you're doing and the hard work that you're doing and the love you're pouring into this, it doesn't go unnoticed. It doesn't go unnoticed. And I feel like as we go through this, first of all, I wish I was an honorary member of Team Fight to Finish. You know what I mean? Like, I really wish that I could just stay in here with you guys forever. Because just being in here for 1 week, I've been rejuvenated. I've been inspired. I read that post the other day. I've seen you guys' post. I read the post about like success and had the picture of the road. And it's like, what are your goals for the end of the year? And then I just stopped and I read all of your goals and all of your action plans. And I was like, these women are amazing. And so as I sit here and I tell you this, I was like, what am I going to teach these people? No, but I mean, at the end of the day, I just don't ever want you to take what you have in here, in your team, in this fit family of yours. I don't want you to ever take it for granted. There's so many people out there who wish that they had this, and it's hard to put words into what this is, but I'm glad that I got to be a part of it for a week. I want to cry too, Jamie. It's a really big deal, and I need to peel this back because I feel like Chelsea is going to probably watch this eventually. I have my honorary, hold on, my honorary Shred Nation shirt on right now. Hey, I am a member of Shred Nation in that I'm an honorary member of the Shred Nation family. And I just, back in the day, before Coach Prep School, before Jamie was even a coach, I mentored Chelsea, right? Chelsea and Rob were mentored underneath my husband and I. We took them under our wing many, many years ago. And now I'm learning from them. Now I'm learning from you guys. And I just feel like it's a really full circle moment. It's very much a God moment for me to be able to be on this with you girls today. So I just need you to know how much you are loved. You guys, you know, it's so funny because you're like, you're so good at storytelling on social media. I'm like, girls, I follow you guys. I watch you guys. I watch your Instagram stories. I watch your Facebook posts. I'm seeing what you are doing. And then obviously making it Allie's version because Instagram was not my jam just a year ago. So don't forget how amazing you are. And that I could just like, and drop mic, and I'm done. But there's just so much that I could say. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, it takes me back to Chelsea and Rob. I mean, you guys, I could have sat here and I was really going to do it. I was like, I'm going to come up with like a training about how to crush the end of the year. I'm going to do this. And then I was like, oh my gosh, you have like the best training system ever with Shred Nation and the YouTube, all the trainings that they have. And obviously what Jamie does for you guys, like you have so much knowledge that you have. So what can I give? And I've prayed so hard on this. And so hopefully what we go over today helps. Hopefully it's an open forum, because as we go through this, and I kind of want to give an overview of what I want to talk about for a hot second, but you guys run the show. So if I'm saying something and it's not making sense, or if I'm saying you want to go a little bit deeper into a question that was asked and you kind of have questions on it, don't be scared. I'm not scary, I promise. I promise. I'm just a big hot mess that is here, and praise the Lord, baby Cannon's sleeping. So you won't be hearing baby cries, let's hope. So, but I do want you to know that you can ask extra questions at any time, and just throw them in there, and I will make sure that I answer them as we go. So, overview of this coffee talk with my morning coffee that I'm not going to be drinking. First and foremost, I'm going to give a snippet of my story because I always assume that everybody knows me. I'm going to call it my social media story. Okay, so this is going to be a two-parter. I'm going to give you Mama Bear's social media story. Okay, the story of how that my I am Team Beachbody story, right? Like my social media story. I'm going to go over your questions. There were like, how many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like 10 questions, boom sauce questions, and we're just going to talk about them because it's coffee talk. And then I'm going to give you my real story. We're going to end with that. How about that? My non-social media story. The story that's not on the social. And hopefully that ends with how you are going to be able to crush the year. So are we good? Yes? Can I get thumbs up? Positive? Happy hearts? Hearts and happy? Emojis? You know I love unicorns, so you can throw out unicorn emojis at any time, and it will make me very happy. Okay, so a little bit about Mama Bear. That's what I call myself. I have been a coach for 8 years, y'all. 8 years. And I was not a runner right out the gate. It took me 2 years before I actually decided to run with this business. And before I even became a coach, the reason why Jamie and I are soul sisters is because we're turbo girls, okay? I'm from Florida, obviously, but I didn't start here. My journey started in Texas, and I had a passion for fitness, just like many of you guys. Like, if you just close your eyes for a second and like think about that moment where you fell in love with fitness. You know, mine was in a turbo kick class when I was 16 years old. Still love it just as much now. I've literally been doing turbo kick for half of my life. I turned 33 on Friday. I don't tell my age to very many people, but I'm telling you, for over half of my life, I've been obsessed with turbo. And I remember wanting to work for Chalene Johnson so bad. But in Texas, they had Mindy Lawhorn, they had Jackie Bull, they had all of these amazing rock star APDs back in the day, and they were like, we don't need anybody in Texas. I was like, oh, what do I do? So at the time, Chalene literally did a search, a call out for APDs in 5 states. It was South Dakota. Nope. It was South Carolina. And I was like, what's in South Carolina? I don't even know what is there. Tennessee. I was like, I don't know. Arizona. I was like, I can maybe do Scottsdale. And then Florida. So no joke, a week after I graduated college, I had planned this out about 6 months prior, but a week after I graduated college, I just packed up everything I owned in my car. I had submitted an application to work for Chalene, already telling her that I lived in Florida, and I did not. And I graduated and I just drove. I didn't know a soul in Florida. I didn't have one friend. I had gotten a job over the phone, somebody that was going to pay me some dollars so that I could pay some rent. And I just drove to Florida to start my life. And I know that that's how does this relate to what we're about to talk about? But for me, that was my scary leap of faith. For some of you, just becoming a coach and taking your life. I've watched some of you guys, like you were in the corporate world, you weren't in fitness. That leap from corporate world to fitness was your leap. I've always been in fitness, always loved fitness, wanted to do this, but my leap actually was my move. We all have a leap somewhere, right? We all have to take it, and you all have taken it, right? But there comes a point where the leap, the scary part, actually is the exciting part. At least that was for me. Like, that drive was exhilarating. You know, it was a mess. I was a freaking mess. I didn't have a place to live once I got here. I lived in hotels for a while, and it was a freaking mess, but I was excited. It was like, yeah! But then the excitement wore off, and I realized, oh, crap. Like, I gotta make this work. And again, all of us go through this. And for me, this was before I found coaching. So I was trying to make it in fitness. I was a full-time Group X instructor teaching over 15 classes, Monday through Friday. I taught at least 2 weekends out of the month. I got the job for Shalene. Hey! And I was doing my instructor trainings here in Florida. I was a full-time personal trainer working 40 hours a week at the gym. I was also a group exercise manager working 15 hours running the 24-hour fitness group exercise schedule. You see what I'm saying? I had a lot going on. So there was a question that we're going to talk about what did your schedule look like back then when you were a coach versus now? And it's two totally different shows, because back then I was working 80-hour weeks. And I think the hard part for myself, and it doesn't matter if you're in fitness or not, but what ended up happening for me is I was doing all of this. And I was also a part of what they called the video talent team. So I was in the Turbo Kick rounds. I've been in over 25 of the Powder Blue Productions / Beachbody Live instructor DVDs over the last 8 years, whether I was leading them or whatever the case may be. And so to somebody else, I was successful. To social media world, Mama Bear was successful. I had made it in fitness. I went to Florida and I made it, right? But what nobody saw, and what I wouldn't tell anybody, was that I was having to pay to fly out to California to be in those videos. And I had no money. I was putting it all on my credit card. I was putting my groceries on my credit card. I was working 80 hours, but I had so much student loan debt. And then I had to get a new car because my car broke down. So then I had my car note. And I had all these bills that even though I was working 80 hours a week in my field that I loved, I was drowning. And many of you feel like that, even if that's just your big girl job right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, you feel like, it's not that you hate your job, and maybe some of you do, but I just felt like I was sinking. I was 5 watered down versions of myself, because I was doing 5 different jobs, working my butt off, but I was going further into debt. I called it my crazy cycle. It was absolutely insane. It was like I was so stressed, so I was making really bad decisions, and then I was going further in debt, which caused me to be more stressed, to make more bad decisions. I was going more in debt, and all of a sudden, I was well in the 6 figures in debt myself. And I didn't tell anybody. My parents didn't know. Obviously, social media didn't know. Actually, I really didn't even know how to work social media back then, but that's neither here nor there. My upline coach didn't know. Nobody knew. It was like this secret. And I remember finally hitting the wall, and we all come to that place. And I was on the phone with my father, and I was homeless at the time. And you hear homeless, I didn't live on the street, y'all. Let's just have an honest moment about this. I had friends who took me into their homes, but it was the spur of the moment. I had to be out of this house, and within an hour, somebody was like, get over here with all your stuff. And then I had to be out of that house, and somebody was like, get over here with all of your stuff. And I was moving around from place to place for 1.5 years of my life. It's so defeating to know that you're doing this, what you feel like you're called to do, but yet you're not making enough money to support yourself. That's where I was. I was like, there's something's got to give. I was in, someone's house. My head was in my hands. I was deferring my car note. And I was asking my dad how to get further in debt. How do I defer my car note? And I couldn't pay my student loans. I'd already deferred those. I was like, this is just ridiculous. And it was that day that I got invited. I got a letter. It was like such a God moment. I got a letter in the mail. Back then they didn't do emails. It was like a physical letter inviting me to leadership. 2010 for Beachbody. I hit Diamond in March of that year and hit Success Club for 1 month. And those were the only requirements for leadership back in the day. What? No joke. And I was like, how am I going to get there? I was in Florida and it was in Dallas. I was like, how am I going to do this? I can't afford it. So a friend gave me a buddy pass for a plane ticket. My dad was like, this is your shot. You can either take it or stay where you are. And I was just crying. I literally have goosebumps. Every time I tell the story, I have goosebumps. I did it. I literally found a friend to room with. I put that room on my credit card, okay? Not gonna lie, not even gonna lie. I went to leadership, and from that day, I've never missed a day. From October of 2010, I've never missed a month of Success Club. 80 plus months, maybe 83, 4 months of Success Club. My life was changed because I didn't quit. I had been a coach since March of 2009. This was now October of 2010, and I stayed with it. And so as there's questions on here that's like, how do you deal with coaches who give up on themselves or are not, they give up so soon? And I want to say, always remember me. I had to realize this, and we'll talk about this later. I had to realize that this was my shot, that this was my opportunity, that this was my chance to get out of the mess. I had to come to that realization. I was watching Success Leaves Clues, baby. I was watching person after person crush this business. I showed up in Dallas at that leadership event in October, and I saw Mindy Wender. I saw Christina Solins. I saw these people who were doing what I needed to do. And at the time, they were making like $1,000 a week. And I was like, oh my God, if I could just make $1,000 a week, I'm making $100 a month. Holy crap, I could do this. Like, if they're doing it, I can do it. They're no different than me. I just got to figure out what they're doing. So I just started asking questions and watching and learning and growing. And every year, amazing things have happened. I mean, it started with paying off the credit card debt. It moved on to paying off my car. It moved to paying off my student loans, all of them. It moved to gifting that car that I paid off to my parents. It moved to me putting $100,000 down on my house. My team hit 15-star diamond, 2 quarters back to back, fighting so that I could have the funds to put down $100,000 on this house that I live in right now. My team fought for me, fought for my dream. And it was, again, goosebumps, like straight goosebumps when I tell this story, because this business has changed my life. They talk about a house that was built brick by brick, like every life changed. What you don't see is every challenge pack you sell impacts your future, impacts your upline's future, impacts Jamie's future, impacts like Chelsea's future. It's insane what you do, and brick by brick, you're building your future. And guess what? Just in June, we paid off another $300,000 on our home. And that's life after life being changed. We paid off our car notes, both of them, done. We have no debt in our name whatsoever. None. Zero. And it happened because I didn't quit when it got really hard. And our mission this year, Brent and I's mission, is we do hard things. You guys are in this upward swing right now. You guys have this momentum, and you're going to come into your business, and maybe you don't feel like you have momentum, but it looks like you have momentum, at least on my end. I'm looking at, Amy's like number 19 in the company, Jamie's number 25, and I'm over here like, okay, I'm in a lull. And I'll be honest, every business has highs and lows, and you guys will feel this. Everybody has it. And my business is needing to come into a place of motivation, and I've got a plan. I know how I'm going to do it, but I just have to let you guys realize at the end of the day, because you do hard things, we're making it through this year. I'm obviously a new mommy. I'm a hot freaking mess. I still am not sleeping. Camden may be sleeping 7 hours a night. Mama hasn't started sleeping more than like 3. I'm at a very big transition in my life. And so to be able to just do the hard things is something that I think is such a blessing, because now I'm remembering what it was like 8 years ago when I was having to fight, when I chose to be homeless for 1.5 years so that I could get my business off the ground. I could have gone back to, I quit personal training and I quit being a Group X manager because it was stealing my joy and it literally was ripping my soul out. Truth. It's for some people, it's not for me. So I could have gone back to that and made it and gotten by, but I didn't. I believed in this so much. I didn't know what my future entailed. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I knew that if I stuck with it, person after person after person was showing me that this thing was going to change my life because it changed theirs. So I didn't, it's like I made a post yesterday about my Mission Mom Bod that I'm on. And I said, I set a goal and detached myself. You guys are Miracle Morning people. You know this. This is Hal's words, not mine. You have to detach yourself from the emotional outcome of your goals. So what that means is I couldn't say, if I do these activities, right? If I do these activities, it's going to get me here. No. I'm going to do these activities regardless of the outcome. I'm going to keep doing these things regardless if my finances allow me to believe that this thing's going to get me out of it. Because trust me, I did everything I was supposed to be doing for 3 months and I was still homeless. For 3 more months, I still couldn't make it on my own. For 6 more months and I still couldn't make it on my own. And I was like, oh my God, is this really so much? They always say when you go for greatness, fear and doubt are going to start stirring from their slumber, right? It was constant fear and doubt. Like, is this really going to work? Is this really going to work? Is this really going to work? But I just had to keep doing the activities that I knew were going to get me there, and detach myself from the fact that I wasn't making enough money. Detach myself from the fact that my rank was actually going backwards at some point and not going forward. Detach myself from the fact that Success Club was actually getting harder versus getting easier. I was like, oh my God, how is this supposed to work? But I just kept doing these things over here. And I'm telling you, the results happen, okay? The results happen. So as I go through this today, I'm no different than you. I've just showed up for the last 6 years, every single day. In my business, every single day. On my honeymoon, I worked an hour a day. When I go on vacation, I work every single day. I'm not telling you I'm a workaholic. I'm not going there, but I am telling you that I show up every single day. For 6 years I did. And that's why I'm sitting where I'm at today. That's why the stories that you hear are what you hear today. And there's going to be a really great question that Jamie asked that it has to do with how coaches who think that they can't be as successful as you because they haven't put in the same amount of time. We'll talk about that because at the end of the day, there's so much potential in this business. And I know you guys know that, but I just want you to remember that you're no different than any other person who's seen their version of success, right? Because what I see as success is going to be different than you guys is. So that's me in a nutshell. That's not a nutshell. That's a lot. It's like that, and that's Mama Bear's story. And yes, I will call myself Mama Bear like 85,000 times. But I do want to make sure that before I kind of give you guys my biggest takeaway, and talk you through kind of what's really, really, really on my heart, I want to go through this list of questions that you guys posted on the page, because I feel like that's how I'm going to give the most value to you, is just take what, if we had a whiteboard here and we were all sitting in the room together and we could put all of our questions on a whiteboard, and we could just talk through them, like, I'm just going to let you inside my brain. So that's what we're going to do. Yay? I'm going to make you give me thumbs up again. Yes, thumbs up, thumbs of the up, go team. Anybody see the first question? It was the best way to organize your monthly boot camps. Is there a moment where you transition them? Just kind of talk me through the way you do it. So I'm not going to tell you my way is the best way, because the only way that my way works is if you have a constant influx of new people. And I mean, like, the way I do it is I need to have at least 8 to 10 plus new people every single month, okay? Or my system will not work. So if you're a person who only brings on like 2 or 3 new people, the way I do it isn't going to work for you, because you're not going to have enough life and energy in your individual boot camp to make it work. If you have the ability to, even if it's like, I let anybody into I call it my Fit Basics group. I let anybody in, as long as they can have a 14-day free trial. They could be doing Clean Week. They could be doing the $99 membership. Obviously, I'm recommending the all access to every single person, but as long as somebody's my customer, okay, I don't care if they have DVDs from 82,000 years ago and they just transfer over to me. I allow people into my Fit Basics group. That's just me. You guys put your own requirements on your thing. That's what I do. But I still run my monthly challenge groups. I still have a 1 week prep. I have 3 weeks of focus. I literally do my groups because I know they work. I know that my group and the content that I have and the love that I pour into them, I know that it teaches people how to get started right on their fitness journey. But what I've changed is after those 3 weeks of focus, I then have a challenge week, which is just a week where it's a points system where they do their 3 weeks and then there's prizes at stake, you know, that 4th week where it's like, okay, you know what you're supposed to be doing. Let's crush and track and do points, and it re-engages everybody. And then I decide from there, do they need another round? Let me explain. I'm from Texas. So when Hurricane Harvey hit Texas, that group had 4 people from Houston in it. So they stayed with me. They were amazing. They checked in with us. It was beautiful. We had our challenge week, but then I said, let's do 3 more weeks of focus for them so that they could get a fresh start. When we had Hurricane Irma here, obviously, we needed to restart. Again, people were showing up, but they couldn't really grasp meal prepping because we were just trying to make our next choice our best choice at that point. So there's moments where after that 4th challenge week, I would graduate them into my community. My community is my online. It's got like all kinds of people where I share my journey. It's everybody I've worked with who's made it through Fit Basics and not fallen off. I graduate them into there either after that challenge week or if they need an extra round after that's over. I make it a big deal, and I move them over. So I do have, I've heard Amy say it many of times that she has a lot of groups open at a lot of times. I typically do because I have my current group. I've got a free group. I think I usually have like August, September, and the start of October kind of all peeling together, but then August just graduated, into my main group, and we kind of play around with it. But I just challenge you guys to figure out what transition works for you. For me, I have to be flexible with it depending upon the people in my group. I don't transition anybody who's gone MIA. I give them the opportunity to restart, but I don't put them in my big community. I still post every day and have fun things all the time, but that group is only for the people who put skin in the game. So the people who made it through my Fit Basics, and it doesn't mean that they showed up every day, you know what I mean? They may have had give or take, but if they go MIA, they don't get added in there. They get a message from me with the door being wide open for them to come back and be in our group at a later time. But that's kind of how I do it. And again, I have people on my team who they're using Clean Week. And that's their Fit Basics is Clean Week, a week of prep and then Clean Week, and then they move them in there into their community. It's another way of doing it that's a little bit shorter and a lot less stressful. So you guys just have to find what works for you, but I do have a big community that I don't just keep rolling people over in my boot camps because I have so many people I've helped over the years that still want the accountability, but I do it just in a bigger Facebook group that I use. And I do still use Facebook. I haven't got on the My Challenge Tracker app bandwagon just yet. I do it every once in a while to spice things up, but I still do use Facebook groups. So if there's any other questions on challenge groups, by all means comment them below and I'll be happy to answer them. But I think that was really the only challenge group question. But at the end of the day, it's just experimenting. I remember when challenge groups started and I had my first Turbo Fire challenge group and it was awful. And then actually my first one was good. My second one I just shut down because we were doing 90-day groups and it was awful. So at any moment where you're this is just not working, you get to revamp everything at any time. So I literally remember just being okay, this group sucks. And I literally was we are shutting this down. I will restart this later. I need to fix some things because this isn't working. Do you require anything in any of your groups, Shakeology or anything? Yes, so I require them to be my customer. So they have to have skin in the game. So it means that my girl, Angela, she has 21-day fix. She already had it, okay? She already had it. She's transferring over to me because her friend that she was with quit coaching or whatever. She already has 21-day fix. Her internet in Oklahoma, she's from my small town where I'm from, Pahuska, it doesn't work very well. So Beachbody On Demand is not really an option for her right now yet. So with that said, she has her DVDs, so I transferred her account to me. She's my customer. She's in my group. But for the most part, I require Beachbody On Demand. I tell everybody, unless there's an extenuating circumstance, they have to have Beachbody On Demand. Non-negotiable, because I know that Shakeology will start to sell itself through Beachbody On Demand. And I know that in our group, Shakeology people will be intrigued about it, and they'll start asking questions if I have them in the group and at least on Beachbody On Demand, because I've learned from Jamie, hey girl, that pretty much I want to treat others the way I wish I would have been treated. I was a fitness girl who had to literally be forced to drink Shakeology from Shalene. She literally had to take me to a smoothie shop, hand them this weird Ziploc baggie of chocolate powder, and then put some peanut butter in it and do the thing. And then she's like, forced it in my face. She's like, you have to try this. I was like, I don't drink my calories. So I just remember myself being that person. So if I can get somebody to fall in love with their fitness and have trust in me with their fitness, then I know that I can eventually get their mindset shifted to understand the benefits of Shakeology. That's a me thing. Others of you may always require a challenge back. Do your dang thing. You know what I mean? This is your business. That's the beauty of this. You do not have to work it the way I work it. You don't have to work it the way Jamie works it. You don't have to work it the way anybody else runs their business. I just always want to give you guys what I'm doing and what I feel is working for me. So, dun dun dun. Okay, this next one's funny. Jamie, you're gonna get a kick out of this one. I don't know if you saw it. I was asked, how do we onboard new coaches and get them started right out the gate? Guys, listen to Jamie, okay? Don't listen. I'm not even answering this question because I'm listening to Jamie. Listen to Jamie on this. She just did a call on it, which Jamie, I would love to hear that call. I wish I was a fly on the wall for that freaking call you did, even though you probably were delusional after traveling. But I will say how to onboard coaches. Listen to Jamie. I love what she's doing. I love the Voxer thing. I will tell you the one word, 2 words. Okay, totally more than 2 words. Keep it simple, sweetie. So KISS, keep it simple and keep it fun. I will tell you what I have done that I've messed the game up. And I told Jamie this. I made it too difficult. I literally was like, what did I want? I would wish I had an academy with all these videos and all these things. So I created this academy that had like all of this information. And guess what? Knowledge on ice does not grow your business. When people have too much knowledge on ice, they're not moving, they're not acting. So at the end of the day, you gotta keep it simple and you've gotta keep it fun. When it becomes too complicated and it's no longer fun, new coaches quit. It's that simple. If you keep it simple and you keep it like to the point and they learn the stuff they need to learn when it's applicable to their life, like I'll be honest with you, I was trading people, oh my God, on so many different things, like so many different things that they didn't need to know yet. You know what I mean? But I felt like if I gave them all of the information up front, they were going to be so amazing. And then they get paralyzed. It's the paralysis by information. Keep it simple. Listen to your coach. Listen to Jamie. Try what Jamie's doing, but shift it in a way that that feels good for you. Personal, one-on-one, or small group works best. Jamie's proving it right now. So I'm not going to answer that. I'm just going to say, listen to your girl. All right? This is a fun one, and I'm excited about this next question. You're an incredible storyteller. Thank you. How do I teach what I do to my girls? So how do I teach this to my coaches? I wish I had a perfect plan, but I do have some ideas. Okay, so first I'm going to teach you what I do because this may help you. And then I'm going to tell you how I help critique my people because that may help you too. Just Google, write this down, Pixar storytelling. Pixar storytelling. How did I learn how to tell my story? And I mean my big story. Okay, like I'm not talking like individual. I have like my story that's ongoing. Like I introduced people to my mission in Mom Bod, and then I'm just ongoing telling my story. Every week I just share my week. Every Tuesday is my Mission Mom Bod day, and I just know on Tuesdays I'm just recapping my week and what I've learned and how I've grown. That's like ongoing. But when I'm trying to teach my people how to tell their story of like how their life has been changed because of this, it's the Pixar story. I tell them to put their story into a Pixar movie. Okay, so you can find this in an image, in a graphic through Google. Okay, but it's once upon a time. Insert your storyline. Once upon a time, I was a girl who fell in love with fitness. Right? I loved it. I ate it, breathed it, smelled it. I asked for my personal training certification on my 18th birthday. I loved it, right? And every day, that's the second part. So once upon a time, and then every day, I was trying to figure out how to make fitness my full-time job. That's what I did every single day. And I tried everything, right? Because, I tried everything. I tried group, and I told you my story. Group fitness, I told you that this is literally how I framed my story at the beginning of this, okay? And then because of that, I started working 5 full-time jobs. I was working I told you guys my story. Because of that girl with fitness wanting to make it her full-time job, because of that, I ended up working all of these jobs. And because of that, so there's 2 because of that. Because of that, I was completely burnt out. I was $100,000 in debt. I was going further. I told you my story. So it's once upon a time, what happened? Okay? Every day, insert your story. Because of that, what happened here? Because of that, what happened here? Until finally. Okay, and the until finally is when you found this family, when you found your challenge group, when you found Beachbody, right? Until finally, I hit my wall. I told you guys this. I was sitting on the bed asking my father how to defer my car note. I got my note in the mail saying, come to leadership, right? And then at the end of it, it's like, until finally, and then you tell the rest of your story. Like, and all of the positive things that have happened, you just tell your story like a Pixar movie, baby. That's all you gotta do. And so when you, don't overcomplicate this. If they're trying to tell their story, whether it's in a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live, a single post, and they want to be able to break it down. I even broke this down over the course of a week. I did each of these as individual posts when I was announcing that I was debt-free. My first post was once upon a time. I didn't say once upon a time, but I was like, this is where my journey started. The next day was a post about every day I did what, and I did an individual post just on that. And then I did an individual post on being burnt out. I did an individual post about being in debt. And then I did my posts about until finally and started sharing my story from there. So Google it. Pixar storytelling. Do a call on it. Share it with your girls. Share it with the team. That has been a huge help for me. But I will say, it was like, how do you help your team with their social media without feeling like you're criticizing them? And anybody who's taught group fitness before can attest to this. If somebody in my class had bad form in a group fitness class, because I think of my team like a group fitness class, right? If somebody in my class had bad form, I wouldn't literally go up and point them out in class. I wouldn't be like, you fix whatever it is. I would give a cue to the whole class, right? Give a cue to the whole class. Tell everybody what they needed to fix, okay? If that person still didn't fix it, I would go in front of that person and make it more obvious that I was talking to them. I didn't point them out, but I would look at them and smile and be like, okay, and I'd repeat what they needed to fix, right? Saying in a group setting. And then, and only then, if they still didn't fix it, I would go try to find them after class and just be like, hey, I noticed that you were like, when I have that conversation, so it's got to be addressed team-wide. It's got to be addressed, in a different way team-wide, because maybe they didn't understand it the first time. So try explaining it a different way, give a different visual, do something. And then you pull them aside and you give them the compliment sandwich. I love your social media. I love what you're doing. And I just did this with my girl, Brittany. She had the most amazing invite post, but she posted at 5 p.m. on a Saturday. Who does that? And I know why she did it. It was the end of the month and she hadn't hit Success Club. But I was like, girlfriend, you should have done this on Thursday. What were you thinking? So instead of me saying that, I was like, sweetie, wow, this post, killer. The words, amazing. The picture, what? Like, fantastic. Next time, you should post these type of posts Sunday through Thursday, somewhere between 7 and 9 p.m. or whatever. And I was like, because of the fact that nobody cares on a Saturday at 5 p.m. I understand why you were doing it. I understand you're trying to hit Success Club, but it's the compliment sandwich. So that's kind of how you do it. You just give them, and she was like, oh my gosh, I totally need to think about when I'm making my post. That makes sense. So they just don't know social media. So like, if you just don't tell them 85,000 things they need to fix, tell them one thing that they need to, that could help them take it to the next level, and allow them to fix that, and then eventually address the other issues along the way. So those are my tips on that. Is this helping? Is this good? Is this, yeah, I hope so. I'm just word vomiting all over you guys. That's what's pretty much happening right now. Okay. Oh man, here it comes. Oh my gosh, Oreo cookie approach. That is the best. I'm so using that. I can't. You just changed my life. Officially changed my life. Okay. Balancing my schedule with business, with family, with the baby. How do I stick to my work hours? What if I told you I don't? Oh my God. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna try to find my words. This is not my specialty because I'm a workhorse. I've heard some of you guys are kind of like me. I just put my head down. I'm a bulldozer. Okay, we say that Brent is the caution cone. He's over here going like, caution, caution, caution. You shouldn't do that. You're about to jump off a cliff. Like, you're driving like 100,000 miles an hour and there's no you're about to run into a brick wall. I see the brick wall. You're still going on. You should probably brake. And I don't see that. I just like, pew, bulldoze. Not my best quality. So I can't tell you that this is my best thing that I've got, but I can tell you what I'm working on. That's what I can do. First and foremost, I work my business in one of two ways. And I know you guys have your own way of saying this. I personally call it blocks of time versus chunks of time. I think that, oh, Jamie, correct me. It was power hour and then power pockets. Something like that. This sounds so bad. I never have done a power hour. This is so bad. I hate saying this. Sounds so awful. I kind of am like anti doing what everybody else does most of the time. And they brought up this power hour long after I started working my business. So like, I just never adopted it. And I probably should have, because then I would have been, but my team teaches it to my team because people on my team do it. I just personally have always just worked off a to-do list, and I work my business a little bit differently because I don't say I have ADD, but I get bored. I can't have the same things happening all the time or I will just stop. So for example, like every day I have my to-do list and I put my power hour stuff on my to-do list, or the things that I do every single day still get put on my list. But I'm a pen to paper. I just got the high performance a book, High Achievers. What's that playbook thingy majigger? Again, you guys inspire me. I got the dang book. I found a discount code. I got excited. It was 40% off. I bought the book so that it will no longer be on this and it will be in the book. Okay. But I'm a pen to paper person and I write my to-do list every day, and I either work my business in blocks of time. So how do I do this? I delegate. I've talked to Jamie about this. I teach my team Shalene's principle of delegate or die. That's what I do. I know that if I have to clean my house, I have a lot of rooms in this house. If I have to clean my house, it is taking away time from my business. So if I can pay somebody to clean my house so that I can focus that hour and a half or however long it's gonna take, vacuuming, cleaning the bathrooms, doing the stuff, if I can pay somebody $100, trust me, in that amount of time, I can sell more than 2 challenge packs. Do you know what I mean? I can help my team sell more than 2 challenge packs. You know what I mean? So like, there's things I can do. If I have an hour of focus, I could change the freaking world. So first and foremost, how do I balance my life? I delegate. And I delegated as a diamond coach. I had somebody cleaning my house when Brent and I, when I got my first apartment, nobody cleaned my house in my first over the studio apartment. But I was a diamond coach and I had somebody working for me for 3 hours a week, helping with some business stuff, like taking stuff to the post office and running errands for me so that I wouldn't have to do those things. And I pay that person like probably $30 a week. I mean, now that was 10 years ago, 8 years ago, so it probably needs to be like $45 a week or something. But I just had one of my friends who had extra time come work for me on a Friday when she had extra time for 3 hours, and she'd help me with whatever I needed help with in my business. So that started as a diamond coach when I was homeless. I was living in spare bedrooms of people's houses, and I paid somebody to help me 3 hours a week with the stuff I sucked at and just wasn't doing. So sometimes for me, it was spreadsheets and tracking, and it was also creating videos, because back then I didn't know how to create videos. So this girl knew how to. Did you ask them how much they wanted? What I said is I was looking for somebody and I could pay you about $15 an hour is what I would say, to help me with stuff, and we can figure out what it is that you would like to take off my plate, what you feel great at. And you could even, I even had one of my coaches, Susanna, actually worked for me and helped me with my new coaches at one point. So it always changed. I actually had her, I paid her 10 hours a week to help me mentor and train my new coaches, because I didn't have time to do phone calls. Back then we didn't have videos and trainings and things like that. I needed somebody to help me train my babies. So I invested in my business and invested in having somebody help take some things off my plate that would allow me to do the most important things, okay? So that I delegated back then. When we finally moved into our apartment, we paid for somebody to come clean our apartment. I did, but because I was like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? It's just not something that I can handle right now. So, I think at the end of the day, delegating the things, like if you have yard work or things like that that you're doing, you know, that like take up time that you don't enjoy. If you love mowing the yard, you know what I mean? Like, have at it. But Brent nor I do it, and we would just curse the whole time. So somebody takes care of our yard, because that's time that I don't have to worry, you know what I mean? And focus on that and focus my attention. And I started that very young in my business. And I always just thought about, like, if somebody took 3 hours off of my plate and let me have 3 hours to just bust it, what could I do? How many lives could I change? How many training videos could I do? Do you know what I mean? Like, wow, what could I do? And then that was what I'd be willing to pay somebody. So I'd be willing to pay somebody $30, $45, because I knew what I could accomplish in those 3 hours if I had them, right? So that's kind of my thought process there. That was then, right? Now I'm a mom. So my delegation looks different. I actually now don't delegate for the business much. I have a virtual assistant who handles my challenge groups and some stuff for me. But my delegation comes in the form of somebody to come watch Camden 3 days a week for 6 hours. How does mom? That's 24 hours that I have to crush my business. Give me 24 hours, I can change the world. Do you know what I mean? So my first thing is I delegate. And again, you don't have to start with 24 hours a week. You can start with 3. You know, think if you had 3 extra hours in your week, what could you do for your business? So that's how I balance it. Honest to goodness, I don't do this alone. And I know Jamie's got her mom, she's got Gigi. And so sometimes you don't have to pay for it. You know, you just have to ask for help. So you guys decide how that looks, and you guys can brainstorm on that together. I know Shalene has a lot of free stuff about delegating and lists and things like that that could help you with that. But I learned it from her. But no matter what, I work my business even if I didn't have somebody helping me in either blocks of time. So this is like if Brent's watching Camden and I have an hour, okay, an hour, hour and a half of time, a block of time. It's a bigger block. I work, you've got to think about your powerhouse, right? So some people, like my coach Lex, knows that she can only sit down for 45 minutes at a time and focus. So her blocks are 45 minutes, okay? So that means she puts the clock, looks at the clock, sets an alarm on her phone, gets her to-do list out, and cranks for 45 straight minutes, no distractions. Phone's turned off. All it is get stuff done on the to-do list, right? I'm an hour and a half girl. So give me closed, my door's closed, nobody talks to me. It's an hour and a half planned, focused time. I'm in it, right? Change the world. But there are times like where I'm having to work this business in 20-minute chunks. And that's usually during nap time. It's 30-minute chunks where I'm like, 30 minutes, go crush my workout. 30 minutes, go take care of my challenge groups. 30 minutes, go do my invites, okay? 30 minutes, go do my follow-up. So I have chunks of time sometimes in my days when I don't have help that I work it in smaller, and I think those are the pockets that Jamie talks about. But hopefully that helps on the time stuff. It's not my best, but that's what I do. Okay, the last 3 questions are pretty quick. So first, instilling long-term vision in my coaches. Okay, so do I have coaches who think they won't be as successful as me and put in because they haven't put in the time? And the answer is we will always have that. When I had my first phone call with Christine Dwyer, that's my upline coach, when I had my very first phone call with her, I was a 2-star diamond coach. So I had gone to 2-star without the help of my coach. I need you to understand that. Like, no phone calls. I just kind of watched other people and did and emulated what they were doing. So when I finally had a call with her and told her how far in debt I was, she was the first person I ever told that I was in debt and how much. And I remember she was a superstar diamond coach, and there weren't that many back then, you know? And so I told her my goal was to be a 5-star diamond coach. That's what I told her. And I didn't tell her why, you know? But the reason why was because I was like, if she can be a superstar diamond, then I can at least be 5-star. So think about where you are, you know what I mean? Your coaches are saying, well, you're here, so I can at least be emerald. You're here, so I could at least be diamond. And you cannot convince them to have the long-term vision. You can't do anything other than lead from the front. It's all you can do. Don't put that stress on yourself. Don't put that pressure on yourself. Lead from the front. Don't manage. Don't control. Don't become a micromanager of your business. All you can do is lead from the front. And they're going to see the longevity in what you do, okay? That's the most important thing. That's how you keep your joy in this business. I've done all the other stuff, and it doesn't work, okay? Trust me. But I will say lead from the front because they have to shift their own mindset. I had to finally see, and it was when Melissa McAllister hit 15-star. Melissa and I are pretty good friends, you know? And I was like, oh my gosh, if she can hit superstar diamond, why can't I? It was nothing Christine said to me, you know, it usually comes from some other source. I had to see somebody that I saw as my equal do it and then go, holy crap, if she can do that, I can do that. She's no different than I am. She has nothing more than what I have. I can do that. But it was nothing my upline coach did other than she stayed in it. She was in it for the long haul. She wasn't going anywhere. She was steadfast, and I knew I could count on her for that. So then my job was to obviously, so your job is to obviously be that person in your coaches' lives and continue to lead from the front. So that's a good one. Now, I'm going to end with this next part. Favorite personal development books, by the way, like, guys, I learned all my personal development hacks from Rob and Chelsea. So just go look at their list on InsideShredNation.com. Because that's where I get all my books from. Just saying. Okay, so the last one is, how do you deal with coaches who give up on themselves before they've even started? So this is kind of my end thing. And I read once that sometimes your organization is filled with action heroes and sometimes it's filled with kryptonite. I don't know where you are right now. I can tell you where I am, but I think there's a lot of action heroes in here, which makes me super excited. But how do we stay motivated around unmotivated people? That's kind of what I want to talk about as we finish this out and how to finish the year strong. And I think this is something that's very important for me because instead of trying to motivate them, you know what I mean? Because so many times you try to motivate the unmotivated or coach the uncoachable. And you're putting yourself in such a really not fun place when you go there. You're like, but my job is to coach. But your job is to coach the willing, to work with the willing. You've heard of that, not to coach the uncoachable, right? So you have to understand first and foremost where they are coming from. Okay, this is very important for me because they don't want to leave the nest. They don't want to leave the nest. And when somebody gets to that place, they don't want to leave the nest, whether it's fear and doubt stirring from their slumber, right? Or life circumstances, or what happens most of the time, it's because they're in the nest because their needs are met. Their needs are met. So that until their needs are no longer met, they're not going to do what it takes to leave the nest. They're not going to do what it takes to fly. That was me. I was okay being where I was. I was hiding from all of the debt. It was like this, all of this stuff didn't, I had pushed it so far back away. It was like, it was invisible. My pain was invisible. My mess was invisible. Nobody knew about it, right? So until I kind of had that realization, like, oh, this is bad. Let me tell you how far in debt I am. And then go, oh my God, I'm never going to get out of this. And oh my God, and I had to come to the realization that my needs were no longer met doing what I was doing, right? Nobody could get me to that place. Nobody. I had to do it. My life had to show me that, right? So this is something, I didn't come up with this. Jace Lundgren, which is a part of our market council here, she talked about this, and this is kind of her thing, but she talked about how, like, if your system is built, which your system is built between Coach Prep School, between the push groups that you guys are running, obviously the onboarding system that Jamie's talking to you guys about, but when your system is built, your coaches can live wherever they want within that system, right? Your job as their coach is to help them find their version of happiness. Your success is helping them find their happiness, okay? So knowing that, that means their happiness could be in the nest. That's not your version of success for them. That's not what you want for them. That's not what you want their life to look like, but that's where they're happiest in that moment. And they're okay with it. They're fine. They're not upset with themselves. They don't feel bad about it. They're in the nest. It's their happy place, right? And there's no point in kicking them out of the nest, forcing them to break their wings when they're not ready. It's something I had to learn. But I will say that they have the free rein to fly at any time if the system is built and your system is built. They have the free rein to fly. So I'm going to read to you something that Jay said. And she said, one thing that has really helped me with my coaches is understanding that their happiness is my success. Some of the people that we coach don't want what we want for them, right? They don't need all there is to offer with Beachbody, okay? Our focus with those people is to help them get to their sweet spot, right? Where they are confident, where they are happy, where they are thriving, where they love the community. So maybe that's where it is, like, right? Or they have a little extra cash in their pockets, right? Maybe they have smoking hot bodies, or they're healthy and they're strong, they're fulfilled. Why isn't that good enough for us if it's good enough for them? Because we're letting our ego override our impact. We expect people to want what we want, think how we think, work like we work, do as we do. And the only way you're going to find your joy in this business is if you let it go and you find those who might want a little more. And when you do, you know the drill. You teach them how to fly. That was like, and I'll make sure I copy that and I'll put it in the group for you guys so that you have it and you can read it. You can put it on a vision board. You can know, like, our job is to help them fly when they're ready. So I wasn't ready for the first 2 years, you know? Look at Chelsea's journey. Chelsea didn't come right out the gate swinging either. So you can't expect all of your coaches to do the same, even though you see so much potential in them, right? And I think that for me is how I want to end this, is like live in your sweet spot and help other people live in theirs. Don't allow, and I know you have some really big goals, guys, really big goals. I've seen them. The rank goals are fierce in this group, but you have to realize your rank will always fluctuate and it doesn't determine how amazing of a coach you are. Detach your emotions from your rank. Strive for it like a champ. Don't let up till you hit it. But I see it. Jamie told you she's 7-star lifetime. She's 4-star right now. Duh! Like, she wrote that in there in her first CBC. I can tell you, I was a diamond coach, I fell back to emerald. I've been a 2-star diamond coach, I fell back to emerald. I've been an 8-star diamond coach, I fell back to 2-star. I've been a 15-star diamond coach, and I fell back to 4-star at one point. And none of you will feel that pain until you're a superstar diamond coach, and all of a sudden you look in your back office on a Thursday and you're 4-star. You're like, what? And it plays with you. That rank that you guys are striving so hard for, I need you to push, but don't set your goals on the rank. Know that the rank is there. Know that that is your focus. Know that that's where you're going, but your goals are over here in the daily activities that you have got to do and show up and do and over and do and over again and over again. All of those things that you know are going to get you there. Focus on those. The rank will come. The results will come, right? Then they'll fluctuate as you start to stabilize, right? I've never gone back to 4-star again because like, that's not ever happening again. Because I did all of this to get myself back to a stable place. But I need you to know that your rank will always fluctuate, but it doesn't determine your worth. It doesn't determine how amazing of a coach you are. It doesn't mean that this hard work that you're putting in right now doesn't go unnoticed. I'm seeing it. I love it. I'm thriving off of it. I'm like, give me more, guys. Like, you're doing amazing. So don't let up. That's all I have to say. But allow your focus to be on the activities, the action that will get you there, not just this over here. So it's 1 o'clock. Holy crap, I did that in an hour. I don't know if your calls are normally an hour or 30 minutes. I don't know. But I just gave you an hour. And hopefully it helps. And I love you guys. That's what I got. So I don't know. I hope that this helps. And I'm sweating, so that's good. That means I did good. I always know I do good calls when I'm sweating. It's a good thing I wasn't drinking coffee, because I don't think I'd stop talking. I would not have time to sip on it. It'd be cold by now, and if I were sipping it, it would make me more roasty toasty hot than I already am. So obviously, if you aren't able to be on this live, Jamie, just leave me in here for a little bit so that if somebody has any other questions on anything, you can comment them in the comments below if you obviously didn't get to watch it from the top. And I'll be in here obviously answering any of those that I can to help the cause. So I love you guys. I love you. I'm going to officially say that I'm now an honorary member of Team Fight to Finish, and so just saying, I'm just making myself one. So whether you allow me to be or not, I now officially am. And I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Mwah.